Hey, what's guys, Wavy Films here, and today I have part 6 of my custom LEGO Avengers Infinity War minifigures project. So today I have 6 figures, and there's only 4 showcased here, because that's all I could fit on the stand. But I do have 6 to show, and then another 3 that I have updates to, so we'll be showing those at the end of the video. But yeah, there's going to be a pretty long video, so I'm just going to jump right into it. But like I said, yeah, I have 6 new figures to show, and this might be the last Infinity War part, but I'll get into that at the end of the video. So, without further ado, let's look at these minifigures. Alright guys, so the first figure I have here is the Iron Man Mark 50. If you remember, I did showcase this figure in a earlier part, but actually this is a version 2. This is a separate figure. This is the original one I made, and I wasn't too happy with it. It had a bit of inaccuracies, like I went over in the update video. So I decided to remake it. This is going to my friend Andy Delta Customs. So I just decided to completely remake the whole figure, and I think it looks way more clean, way more detailed, and way more accurate. So I basically just sculpted the chest and the shoulder pads and sides of the helmet, because the helmet was actually inaccurate. The mold that LEGO has is for the original Iron Man from like the first movie and from Avengers, but now the helmets have a bit of a different design, so I sanded down the sides of it heavily and resculpted the sides. I also cut off the bottom and sanded that, because the Iron Man helmet doesn't actually go all the way down. It shows the back of the, not the back of the person's head, but like it thins out a bit at the bottom. And then I also sculpted the shoulder pads on the back. So I sculpted everything the same that I sculpted on here. I just went about painting it differently. As you can see, I did not sculpt the little gold parts under here like I did on this one. And I put the gunmetal, and this one actually has gunmetal paint. When I made this one, I didn't actually have gunmetal, so I just used silver. But on this one, I actually used gunmetal, and I think it looks way better. My favorite part probably is like the light red highlights all over the figure. And the painting does continue inside the legs, like that. And underneath, I do have a Tony Stark face, whereas on the original one, I just need a dark red head, so it has like some weird Lord of the Rings goblin creature. And if we take the head off here, we can replace it with the Tony Stark head like it on the last one. I think this one looks way better with the Tony Stark head as well, and I really like how it looks. So yeah, that's it for Tony Stark / the Iron Man Mark 50, and now we'll move on to the next figure. So guys, the next figure is Bakugo. He was probably my favorite character in Black Panther. He really stole the show for the scenes that he was in for me, and I'm really excited to see him in Infinity War, although he'll probably have maybe like 1 line, 2 lines. But I'm excited to see Winston come back to the MCU in Infinity War. This figure lacks a lot of detail and is slightly inaccurate because I really wanted to utilize this fur. Now this is Cape Madness synthetic fur cape. I bought 2 of them. I used one for the collector and I used one for M'Baku, and I cut it up and glued it onto like his arms and his legs, like he has in the movie. So the bit of inaccuracies is that he's supposed to have gauntlets on top of the fur here, but I didn't want to glue anything on top of the fur and risk ruining it. He also has shoulder pads and like shin guards as well over top of the fur, but like I said, I just didn't want to paint on top or sculpt or glue anything on top, or else it would probably ruin the fur. And besides, I think that it looks good as is. There's a bit more color on the chest here, and I tried to get as much as I could. I did sculpt the chest, and I did some dry brushing and different things to make it look more like wood. Then I used some different colors of brown, like tan and dark and light brown, to try and get some texturing in there. For his skirt, he has like a grass skirt, so like I also dry brushed some blacks and browns, some tan, to kind of make it look like liney and look like straw, and I think it turned out pretty good. And then the belt's just E-tape. The head was just completely painted by me, and I think I got pretty good likeness to Winston Duke. And the hairpiece was the Zane hairpiece from the Lego Ninjago movie, which I just sanded the top to make it a bit more round, and I painted the top dark brown, or I washed it a bit dark brown, because if you look at some pictures, his hair looks like it fades into like a more reddish dark brown at the top, so I just wanted to include that in the figure. That's about it. Like I said, he's really simple, but I'm really excited to see him in the MCU, and I just want to make a quick figure so that I actually had M'Baku as part of my collection. The next figure is Bucky, aka the White Wolf. This figure I didn't have started at all when I posted the update video, but that day, I think, like I said in the video, reference actually came out. His suit's pretty similar to Loki with the diagonal lines across the chest there, but When painting it, it was a bit different. I'll just get this out of the way. This is just some random brick arms gun that I've had for a long time, so I don't remember the name, but it looks similar enough to the gun he uses in Infinity War, and I think it was even... I used this on my Civil War version of Bucky, if you go check that out on my old showcase. I ended up going with the Luke Skywalker hairpiece. Now, this was originally used by my friend Chris McLovin on Flickr. I'll leave a link to his Instagram and YouTube and all that down in the description. But it works really well for Bucky's hairpiece, and I didn't really like it on the original Luke figure, but it looks really well on Bucky, and it definitely fits his personality. I used 3D E-tape for his shoulder pads here, and for his strap on his arm, as well as the straps on his legs and around his boots. Like I said, the torso design was pretty simple, and I didn't paint it back because there is no back reference, and I will, once that comes out, I'll paint that up. The arm was painted onto just like a silver arm that LEGO has, and it's a bit inaccurate because I didn't realize that the design on the arm, like the way the lines are a bit different on his newer arm than his Winter Soldier arm. It doesn't matter though, because I prefer the design on the Winter Soldier arm, but the new one, it's kind of sectioned off for his different muscles, so like it's like a rounded here for like where his bicep is and everything. And I think it looks a bit better, it fits more on LEGO when I paint it like this, because if I were to round it off and stuff onto the flat, rounded surface, where he's supposed to have like a muscle that comes out, it would look a little bit weird. So yeah, I did do that, and the lines are supposed to be gold, but I just did them in black so you could actually see them, and then some of them outlined in gold, just so you could see it better. So yeah, the face of course was a LEGO Lost face. What else do I use? And I used Delas Prime's Bucky from Civil War face as inspiration, so we'll leave the link to his Instagram and Flickr and all that stuff down in the description. And I just made the beard a bit heavier because Bucky has more of a full beard than just stubble in this film. But yeah, guys, that's it for the White Wolf, aka Bucky Barnes. Hopefully he doesn't die in this movie. Hopefully, if Steve Rogers doesn't definitely die, he can become Captain America. So that's it for this figure, and now we'll move on to the next one. Alright guys, so the next figure is Time Layer Tavon, aka the Collector. I haven't actually posted this guy on Flickr or Instagram as of this recording, just because I'm waiting for a hairpiece to come in for Grandmaster, and because they're brothers, I want to post them together. There's no confirmation whether or not Grandmaster is actually in Infinity War, but the Collector was actually in a leaked scene from Infinity War where the Guardians go back to his secret, or not secret hideout, I go back to his collection, like it's all destroyed, and Thanos is actually there, and he has him like, he's like holding the Collector, and he's like, where's the Reality Stone? Because obviously Collector was the last person in possession of it, and right now I just have him holding the Reality, like a translucent red stud. But as I have been getting the Infinity War sets, I have been giving my other customs the actual Infinity Stone pieces, so once I get the set with the Reality Stone, I'll be sure to give him the actual piece. Now this figure, similar to Bakugo, uses Cape Madness's synthetic fur capes. This one a bit more, and that's the reason I bought it, because he does have a furry cape, and this stuff's so soft. So I got it on here, and oops. Sorry about that technical difficulty there with the chain, but I've re-glued it on. Everything's fine. But yeah, so the chain is actually just some jewelry chain I got from Michael's. I cut it and glued it on because I really wanted a 3D chain on the front of this figure. It was a little bright, so I had to do a black wash over it to kind of dull it down. Speaking of black wash, I also did that on the torso because he has like a pattern on the torso, but I couldn't really tell much of what it was, so I tried to just do a black wash, and it kind of turned out the way I wanted to, so that's all nice. For his shoulder pads, like that clip the cape to his actual suit, I just have some E-tape that's glued onto the top, and then I did, oh, I was meant to take off the hairpiece there, but apparently not. And then I did just paint black on the top so it kind of seams in there. And yeah, I obviously used a LEGO Lost head to paint the head, and it kind of was inspired by Phoenix Brick's Collector figure, which I really liked, and I've always wanted a Collector figure, but I've never gotten one, the Phoenix or the STCC one. But yeah, that's it for the Collector. I'm really excited to see him in Infinity War, and I hope he doesn't die. Alright guys, so for one of the figures I didn't show in the intro is my Hawkeye from Civil War / Infinity War. Now there's no confirmation whether or not he actually wears this suit in Infinity War. He does wear it on the original San Diego Comic-Con poster, and he does also wear it on the Vanity Fair photo shoot, so I'm hoping he does. I think he's not going to become Ronin until Avengers 4 because that's what they were filming when those Ronin set photos were taken, where he's wearing the Ronin costume. So this is actually the second version of this I've made. I made a Civil War Hawkeye for my Civil War showcase back in 2016. That one was not the greatest, and it had really clumpy paint, and I still have it, and it doesn't look good. So I actually made this figure in a day, in a couple hours actually, because I realized it's quite a simple design. So I tried to get it out before McLovin, Chris, again, his Infinity War contest ended, and I did. So yeah, just trying to move this figure to face forward now. But I'm actually really happy with how it turned out, despite being quite a fast figure. I'll get these out of the way. This is just a brick forge bow and arrow, and I just took some thread and tied it in there so that it has, you know, a arrow, or so he has a string. And this is actually the bow I used in my original Civil War showcase, so it just has some silver dots painted on the front, and then I just painted the tip of this arrow black. But yeah, one thing I do want to say is that the quiver is actually originally from my Civil War Hawkeye. I really like how that turned out. All it was just a piece of printer paper wrapped around, glued, and then glue the top of a Lego quiver into the top, painted black, and then sculpted on the bottom and the top, so there's no gaps. But yeah, I'm really happy with how this turned out. So I just painted his really simple torso design. I used the same paint actually as my original one, and I just watered it down so it was not as thick and clumpy as it originally was. And then I just outlined some stuff, did some gray detailing. He has some E-tape for his boots and for his straps on the one leg there. And then he also has E-tape on this for his glove top. And then E-tape for his straps, so that right there is E-tape as well as the straps, and they do go all the way around the torso, so that one goes all the way around, and they're all glued to the quiver on the back. And then I also use the dried up Procreate method from my friend 97 Lego Maniac, where I just cut out some dried Procreate for his gun holster on that side and his knife holster on his boot. For the hairpiece, I just took the Hawkeye hairpiece and I sanded down the sides, and then I just painted it on, because he does have a little bit of regrowth hair on the side where he has his mohawk, so I just dry brushed a bit of hair on the sides there, so it looks accurate to his hairstyle in Infinity War, although I do think it's a little unevenly sanded, so I might have to sand down this side, and then it'll look better when it's like that. And then of course the head was a Legolas head. Like I said, I don't use anything else. But yeah guys, that's it for Hawkeye. Pretty simple, but I really do like this costume, and I really hope we see him wear it in Infinity War. And now on to the last figure before we get into some updates. Alright guys, the next figure is Hulk. There has been some rumors whether or not Hulk is actually in this film, if Bruce Banner just uses the Hulkbuster armor like in the Lego set and in some leaked descriptions, or if he's going to be hulking out. I guess there's literally no confirmation, I guess, at this point. He was in the one trailer, but they could easily CGI him out, so at this point it's kind of up in the air. But I decided to still make him because my friend Chris, again, another shout out, again his links are down in the description, used a really cool idea for his Hulk figure, and I messaged him. I was like, that's a really awesome idea, can I, like, is it okay if you, like, I also try and use the idea? And he was totally cool about it. So yeah, as you can see, the arms connect a bit differently than they normally do, and that's because the arms are actually sphere magnets. As you can see here, the paint scratches off on the inside a bit, but that's fine, because usually I have them displayed like this where you can't really tell. But yeah, so I basically, this was Chris's method, but basically I just cut off the top of the arm here, and then took this sphere magnet, glued it on, resculpted it so that it looks like one solid piece, and then on the inside of the arms just dremeled out a giant hole. And so this arm is also a magnet. I don't want to get it too close to the camera in case anything happens, but they do attach, and that probably just rubbed off a lot of paint, but yeah, they do attach, and so they're strong enough to attach through the torso, so you can pose them in any way you want. You can kind of do that. You can do like the Hulk smash pose, or you can just have him sitting neutral like that. And it's really awesome. I had to mix some olive paint, and I think I used brown, tan, and green just to mix this olive green paint to actually match the Hulk skin tone, and it's actually really cool, and I love how it turned out. I also did sculpt the inside of the arms, so there's no longer those giant gaps there. What I also did was I sanded down the top of, or the sides of his hair, just to be more accurate to the hair style that he has in Infinity War and Thor Ragnarok. I also did use some dry brushing to add some chest hair and a bit of stubble around there, since he does have that, and some gray hair because he also is getting a little bit old, so he has some gray hair on the sides there. And then I just painted on a basic pants design that goes all the way around, and and then I dry brush some white around there so that it looks like torn fabric, and that's about it for Hulk. In the end, I did give him just a quick black wash so that he actually looks kind of dirtied up from the battle, but he was a pretty simple figure, but I'm really happy how he turned out, especially with the magnetic posable arms. So yeah guys, that's it for Hulk. Alright guys, and now on to the updates, just some minor ones. We'll start with the biggest update, which is Black Widow. I changed the head and hair piece to be from the official set. I think the Jyn Erso head has great likeness to Scarlett Johansson, and the hairpiece that I had before doesn't really work with this head. Now I will be displaying it with my original head and hair piece that you've seen in previous updates, and that's just because I'm waiting to buy another hair and headpiece because I just want to keep my Infinity War figures, official ones, intact for now. So I'm just going to be buying another one of these head and hair pieces. But yeah, also I did change the vest to green. Finally, I know. In the original concept art, her vest looks really, really green. Whereas when it translates to the physical suit, it's like really dark green, and in some lightings it looks like it's black. So that's why I painted it black originally, because everyone's like, oh, it's gray, it's gray, or it's green, but in a lot of the official pictures they showed, it looked black. That's just because they darkened some photos and some lighting looked a bit different, but if you look at the set photos and the set photos and some of the promo photos that they've released from the movie, it is clearly green. So I mixed some black and green to get this darker kind of camouflage green color, which is a bit more accurate to the green color of her vest. And it's not completely green, so there's some black sections on the side and stuff, but I did finally update that, so you guys can stop yelling at me. The next one is Captain America. It's not that big of a difference. I just changed his hair color. Originally, it was just painted brown with some tan dry brushing, and it looked really weird and really like liney. So I just got some brown and tan paint, and I just blended it together to create a more natural looking hair color. Plus, I think it just looks a lot better. So I did that on the beard and on the hair, and I just think it looks a lot better. And for the last update, we have Thor. I'll just put him on here. And all I did was add his eye scar right there. I didn't really think he had it originally, but when they released the Hot Toys, he did. And so I just decided to quickly add some brown lines for his scar. So guys, that's going to be it for this showcase. If you liked it, be sure to leave a like as well as subscribe. Yeah, this is probably the last Infinity War part, just because I have 3 figures left. I have War Machine, Nebula, and my updated Thanos. I have to wait a bit to get the keychain figure for updated Thanos, but I am currently working on Nebula, although I'm not sure if I'll finish her, just because, honestly, like, I don't care. Her suit looks really complicated that I don't want to paint it, plus I don't feel the motivation to, and also, it's Nebula, like, she's probably going to be a part of the movie, but I'm assuming she's just going to die at the hands of Thanos at some point. Either that or she's going to kill Thanos. But I mean, it's Nebula. Like, I don't care that much. And War Machine, I do really want to make him, but I do have to wait for more reference, because most of the reference that I do have is concept art, and when I look at the official what is it? The Entertainment Weekly, that's what it is, cover, where you can briefly see his new armor behind Drax. If you compare that to the concept art, there's a little bit of differences. Plus, Hot Toys just came out with their little like minifigures. Not minifigures, like Lego minifigures, but they have like the full-scale 6-inch figures, and then they have like the little, kind of like their own version of Pop Funkos. And if you know what I'm talking about, then you can visualize it in your head. But they released their new Infinity War versions of those, and they have one that's War Machine, and he actually has like some camouflage printing on his helmet, so now I don't know if that's actually accurate or not. So all in all, I'm just going to wait for more reference for War Machine. For those of you wondering what I'm going to be doing after Infinity War, because I have given this some thought, I do have one more project, or actually 2 more projects installed for after Infinity War. One is for one of my favorite web series that I've ever seen, and I'm gonna keep it a little bit under wraps for now. In the future I might reveal what it is, but it's one of my favorite my favorite web series that I've ever seen. It's a great cartoon, and for those of you who know what it is, or I mean, some of you know because I did a guessing thing on my Instagram and a couple people got it, but it's actually great and I love it, so I'm going to be making some figures from that because I just recently rediscovered it. And then after that I have another MCU project, not as big as Infinity War, and then after that maybe some Clone Wars figures because I just watched watched Clone Wars for the first time, finished it. I watched it in chronological order, and it was pretty cool. I mean, the earlier seasons are kind of bad, but I do really like the later seasons, especially Darth Maul and Savage Opress, so I might be making some Mandalorian figures, such as Maul or Savage. Sorry for the voice cracks. But that's all I really have in the works for right now. As of right now, I have finished 30 Infinity War figures, which I know is crazy. A lot of people, even like Ross, he's like planning on making like 12 or something, but the reason I made 30 is just because I started so early, which kind of was my point. And I'm not even sure if I'm going to finish all my figures in time. I definitely can't make the Black Order, which I originally planned on, but as it goes on, I'm like, I don't really care. They're probably all going to die in Infinity War anyway, and they're probably they're going to be like the Darth Mauls of the MCU, where they look cool, and they're going to die cool, but they have like no lines, and they really just don't mean anything. So, yeah, I just ended up deciding against it. My Corvus Glaive Whip, I don't know what I'm going to do with that, but I'll figure something out. I'll just, for displaying purposes, I'll just use the LEGO official ones for now. But that's going to be it for this video, guys. If you liked it, be sure to leave a like and as well as subscribe. I know I already said that, but I don't know. My intro is usually really clumsy and messy. Be sure to go follow me on all the links down in the description, where I get around to posting these figures way before I get around to making a video and uploading it to YouTube. Also, be sure to comment which one of these was your favorite, and are you excited for Infinity War? I know I'm buying my tickets. Tomorrow, well, I guess tomorrow, as I'm recording this, it's Thursday night right now, but I guess the tickets have already gone on sale by the time I've uploaded this. So yeah, guys, thank you for your continued support, I guess. I don't know, we're almost at 4,000 subscribers last time I checked, so that's pretty cool. I don't know if I'll be doing something special when I hit 4K. If you have any ideas for what I can do, I'll leave them in the comments below. And yeah, so yeah, I'll see you guys later.